So why self-awareness is such an important and crucial part of conscious relationships? In this video, I will try to answer that and give you a couple of examples how becoming more self-aware can actually improve your relationships and can offer you an opportunity, and relationship itself can offer you an opportunity to become more self-aware. So I want to call this video Mirror, Mirror on the Wall because relationships are actually mirrors of our own internal state. Okay, so it offers us that opportunity or possibility to get curious, not just about the person who are we with, but also about ourselves. When I talk about conscious and unconscious relationships, it's important to understand that majority of people on the planet right now are actually engaging in completely unconscious relationships. And I used to be one of those people. Believe me or not, majority of my relationships before my marriage was completely unconscious. So what do I mean by unconscious relationship? The way I see it, and when I reflect on the previous relationships I've had, and now as a therapist actually specializing in relationships and working with clients, I see the same sort of scenarios playing out in other people's lives as well. So what I mean about unconscious relationship, this probably has a few sort of pillars to it. So first of all, we don't know what we want. We are just going along. We don't know what we want. We don't know what our desires are. We don't even recognize what needs we want this relationship to really fulfill. And one of our big pillars, let's say, in unconscious relationship is simply, projecting. Unconsciously projecting your own crap onto your loved one or your partner, friendships, I'm talking about all kinds of relationships here. And then, when we project our own fears, our own insecurities, our own, crap, our own trauma onto that person that is in front of us, relating to us. And then at the same time, we start blaming them for whatever we are projecting. So this is even going into like toxicity of the relationship itself. And toxic relationships are unconscious relationships, Consciously, I don't think somebody wakes up and consciously want to be toxic, consciously want to go and hurt their partner. These are unconscious behaviors most of the time. Again, that's not an excuse where it's like, oh yeah, well, he doesn't know what he's doing, or she doesn't know what he's doing, they are unconscious, and therefore it's okay. It's not okay. That's another pillar where we talk about, self-awareness and self-responsibility, self-accountability, and all these things that are massively important in a relationship if you want to have a conscious and healthy relationship. And if you want to create this space within your relationship that offers you healing, and these opportunities show up in our relationship on various occasions. But because we are not conscious, because we are not self-aware, we tend to perhaps, hide ourselves, or we get in a defensive mode, or we get into a blaming and shaming mode. And we also play out all kind of patterns that we learned from our dysfunctional families, for example, or previous relationships, and the pattern is just sort of getting stronger and more kind of engraved in our subconscious mind, where again, consciously we might think, oh, that wasn't a lovely thing to do, and I really hurt my partner, let's say, by doing something. But however, because it is an unconscious thing, we don't give ourselves time to sit down and investigate and become self-aware and become self-regulating our nervous system. We kind of, in the back of our minds, still blame another person. So let me just give you one simple example from my practice. I worked with this lady that came to me because she was suffering from this intense jealousy towards her boyfriend. And she had paranoid thoughts about her boyfriend being unfaithful to her. So once we started the conversation, one of the things that I actually asked her was, does she have any evidence that her boyfriend was unfaithful? Or that somehow he's flirting with someone else online? Is there evidence to her thinking? And she told me that she did all the things to check his phone, and she went through his emails, and she really tried to find the evidence to support her fear, let's say, to support her belief, to support her thinking. However, she couldn't find anything. So that's very interesting, because how does that make you feel, right? You did all that, you did all the checkup, you tried to find the evidence, but there was none. And at the same time, the boyfriend is in that situation where she's constantly questioning him, where she is constantly accusing him. And how long you, as a person receiving all that, would stay in that relationship. So that's another thing to ponder about. If you would be on the receiving end, where somebody is completely doubting you constantly, somebody is accusing you of things that you haven't done, somebody is telling you that you are a cheater, even if there is no evidence to it. So, we kind of discussed a little bit of that, but my curiosity really sparked at some point in that conversation, where I did ask her the question, so have you ever cheated on your boyfriend? And she broke down in tears in front of me. So I thought, yeah, I hit the spot there. And that's what I mean by just the projection of your own shame, your own guilt for something that she's done. But because of those feelings, sort of, because of that secret that she's keeping inside of her, and it's literally eating her alive from the inside, all that shame and guilt, the only thing that she can do to minimize that and feel a little bit better about herself is to accuse the boyfriend of doing the thing that she actually has done. Does that make sense? Do you see what kind of very obvious projection that was in this particular case? So in the end of the day, it wasn't even about her boyfriend. It was all about her and all about those feelings that she just didn't know how to deal with. So once that was dealt with, that need to accuse someone else and engage in kind of this toxic behavior completely disappeared, because the internal feelings that she carried within her, the guilt and the shame, were resolved. So there was no need to project these feelings onto anyone else, right? On this note, I want to give you a couple of examples with invitation to actually look within yourself and bring that self-awareness back home, because that's something that I truly guarantee that will improve your relationships. Okay, and it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a week. This is a process. It took me a good couple of years to actually become more aware in my own relationships, even with the knowledge that I already had, okay, in terms of psychology and different types of therapies. We can be very blind when it comes to ourselves. And just think of that analogy that I said before. Relationships are our mirrors, but at the same time, you have to be able to reflect what's showing up and how is that a part of you as well as your partner. Okay, it's never just the one thing. It always comes back to you in the end of the day. So relationships can be a perfect mirror for that, just to see your own internal issues coming up. And they will come up. They will come up when you feel safe enough in the relationship, and you will be able to create that healing space, right, for yourself and for your partner, if you're able to create that safer environment where you can explore each other much, much deeper. But at the same time, all the crap will come up when you are triggered in many different ways. So this is where projection can come in. And there you are, you're projecting things onto your partner where he or she has literally no clue of what the hell is going on. And even you don't have any clue what's going on, because it is a subconscious thing. these triggers or some sort of trauma that is coming up literally has nothing to do with your partner. It's all about you. So let's bring that awareness onto yourself. And I want to leave 4 sort of statements or views, point of view, how you can start coming back to yourself and bringing a little bit more awareness into your relationships. So let's go. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Number 1, all the things that irritates me, disappoints me, or even upsets me or angers me in others. All the things that I want to change in others also exist in me. So it's the recognition that is upsetting and irritating you. Ponder on that and see how much awareness that can bring to you. And for some people, this statement is very, very uncomfortable, okay? Because yet again, they are still in the unconscious pattern that tells them, no, 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 I'm the good one here, right? It's those people, it's them. I need to show fingers. I need to point them. I need to blame them. Their behavior is just awful. I would never, ever do that. Are you sure? Are you absolutely sure? So number 2, all those things that others criticize or judge in me or try to change in me, and if that bothers me, if that offends me, if that hurts me, that only means that I still don't love myself enough in certain areas of my own experience. Number 3, so again, all those things that others judge in me, criticize me, and try to change in me, and if that doesn't affect me, that shows only the insecurities of the other person who's trying to do that. So you see the link here. If that kind of behavior where somebody is judging you, criticizing you, or, attacking you online, whatever bullshit that is going on in this unconscious style of relationships, let's say. So if that bothers you, there's something to look within yourself and see where I still feel insecure, where I still don't love myself enough. And that will give you that inquiry within yourself. But if that kind of behavior no longer offends you or affects you, that just, you can clearly see that this is the projection of another insecure person just trying to sort of, drop their crap onto you. But you are now self-aware enough and with enough self-love and with enough high self-esteem that you can see that it doesn't affect you anymore. Okay, so there is a big difference there. So number 4 is related to number 1 actually, and I'll explain it in a moment. Number 4 is all of the beauty, all of what I admire and love and value in other people also exists in me. So it is a resonance, it is a recognition of my own beautiful parts. And how many times you actually look at your friend or look at somebody that you admire and you think, wow, they're just wonderful. But because of lack of self-awareness, you don't understand that all these things you are able to resonate and recognize is because they also exist in you. So how it relates to number one is basically just the opposite side. So whatever irritates you, whatever disappoints you and angers you and upsets you also exists in you. And you see that through others. But it's the same principle when it comes to beauty and love and values and recognition of all of these wonderful qualities. So again, bringing that self-awareness is not just about, recognizing the darkness. It's also about recognizing the light within yourself as well, because both of them exist, and it's very naive or new age bullshit crap that you're only love and light. You're not. You have a lot of darkness in you too, and unless you recognize it and unless you go through that self-discovery, self-reclamation, taking responsibility, taking accountability for your own actions and how you relate to other people, the healing that you choose to do, that is part of it. That is part of it. And it's important because if you are in this idea that somehow, somewhere, just, these same patterns that you've been playing out in your last 30 years is just going to change overnight without any self-awareness work, without any deep dive into your own crap and your own darkness that exists in all of us, how are you actually hoping to change anything if you don't want to look at the things that are staring you in the face through that mirroring work, from that mirroring projection that is going on in your relationships? So I hope this was helpful, and the goal of this video is just to give you a bit of more intention to get to know yourself better and to bring you that self-awareness. And hopefully this is the beginning of you starting to shift within yourself, and that means that your relationships are also going to shift. So thank you for watching, and if you liked this video, please consider subscribing and sharing it and giving me thumbs up. Thank you. Take care.